Lesson 15, Sunan Ibn Majah. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Allahumma akhrijna min zulumatil wahm wa akrimna bi nuril fahm. Allahumma aftah alayna abwab rahmatik wanshur alayna khazaina ulumik birahmatika ya arhamar rahimin walhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Welcome to Lesson 15 about Sunan Ibn Majah of Module 2, History of Hadith compilations of the course on Hadith. In the previous lesson about Sunan an-Nasa'i, we have learned that among the authors of Ṣiḥāḥ Sittah, Nasa'i is famous for his love of the Ahlul Bayt or the Prophet's family. He wrote a book entitled al-Khasa'is to prove the vastness of Hadrat Ali's merits and virtues. Because of his refusal to write a book on the alleged merits of Muawiyah, he was beaten by the people of Sham, and this led to his attainment of martyrdom. Initially, Nasa'i wrote a book entitled As-Sunanul Kubra, which contains 12,000 traditions. Then, upon the request of Hakim Ramla, he separated the authentic or more authentic traditions and collected them in a book entitled As-Sunanul Mujtaba. This book is considered the fifth of the Ṣiḥāḥ Sittah. For the hadith narrators, Nasa'i set conditions which are even stricter than those of Bukhari and Muslim. Repetition of traditions is considered one of the weaknesses of Sunan Nasa'i, which has 5,769 traditions or ahadith. Biography of Ibn Majah. Abu Abdullah Muhammad ibn Yazid Rab'i al-Qazwīnī was born in Qazwin in 207 or 209 after Hijrah. Majah is a Persian word which is his title of honor. He started his education in his hometown under Ali ibn Tanafasi and Abu Muhammad Amr ibn Rafi'. In order to study further, he then traveled to the cities of Kufa, Basra, Wasit, Baghdad, Damascus, Hamas, and Egypt. From among his most prominent sheikhs and teachers, the names of Abu Bakr Karib, Muhammad ibn Ala, Muhammad ibn Bashar Bandar, Zuhair ibn Harb, and Mus'ab ibn Abdullah az-Zuhri can be mentioned. Of his students and narrators, the names of Ali ibn Ibrahim Qattan, Muhammad ibn Isa Safar Abhari, and Ishaq ibn Muhammad al-Qazwīnī can be mentioned. Apart from the Sunan, he has literary works on the exegesis or tafsir of the Quran and the history of Qazwin. He passed away in Qazwin in 273 after Hijrah. Sunni Rijal writers and biographers have mentioned Ibn Majah's name with words of admiration. Ibn Khalikan has thus stated, Abu Abdullah Muhammad ibn Yazid ibn Majah al-Qazwīnī is a Hafiz, famous and compiler of a Sunan book in the field of Hadith. He is a leader and forerunner in Hadith and is well versed in its sciences, and all his knowledge is related to it. In order to hear traditions, he traveled to different cities, and his Sunan book is one of the 6 Sahih books. After mentioning some of the points stated earlier, Ibn al-Jawzi has considered him scholar of Hadith and Sunan. Al-Dhahabi says he has books on Sunan, Quranic exegesis or tafsir, and history. and he heard traditions from Muhammad ibn Abdullah ibn Numair, Jabbara ibn Muflis, and others. Regarding Ibn Majah, Abu Ya'la al-Khalili has also stated, Ibn Majah is reliable, great, unanimously accepted, and can be a basis of argument, and he has knowledge and strong memory. It is thus stated in Shajaratul Dhahab, Ibn Majah occupies a high post. He is a great Hafiz and reliable. Familiarity with Sunan Ibn Majah. Sunan Ibn Majah is the six Sunni collections of Hadith. Is the six Sunni collection of Hadith considered authentic or sahih, and in which only jurisprudential narrations are included on the basis of sections in jurisprudence from purification or tahara to indemnity for bodily injuries or diyat. It is recognized as the last among the six sahih books in terms of the degree of credibility of its narrations. Many hadith scholars have regarded Sunan Ibn Majah as having weak and fabricated narrations. For this reason, An-Nawawi says, some muhaddithun have regarded only 5 books as authentic. As such, Sunan Ibn Majah is not one of them. Proponents of Maliki madhab have considered Malik ibn Anas al-Muwatta the sixth Sahih instead of Sunan Ibn Majah. Others, like Ibn Athir al-Jawzi, have given preference to Malik's al-Muwatta or Sunan ad-Darimi over Sunan Ibn Majah. Al-Dhahabi has quoted Ibn Majah himself as saying, I presented the Sunan book to Abu Zar'a. He examined it and said, I think if this book becomes available to the people, all or most of the collections of hadith or jawami will be suspended. He has added, nevertheless, in Sunan Ibn Majah, 30 narrations whose chains of transmission have weakness can be found. Abu Ya'la al-Khalili has acknowledged Sunan Ibn Majah as a good book and added, of course, had he not included chimerical narrations, his book would not have been tainted and its standing be diminished. Regarding this book, Ibn Tahir has henceforth expressed his belief. The book Sunan Ibn Majah is comprehensive, good, and has many and unusual sections or abwab, and in which many weak traditions can be found, such that I heard Sirri saying, whenever Ibn Majah is alone in narrating a tradition, in most cases the said hadith is weak. Of course, this claim is not absolutely correct, but generally, munkar traditions are too many in it. Ibn Zahir has also stated, anyone who reads Sunan Ibn Majah will realize the status of the compiler in terms of good arrangement of the book, plenitude of sections, paucity of traditions, avoidance of repetitions, and it has no traditions with nazil, maqtu, and mursal chain of transmission, and are narrated by those having defects, majruhin, except to the extent pointed out by Abu Zar'a. In Sayr I'lamun Nubla, Al-Dhahabi has thus stated after expressing admiration to Ibn Majah. Munkar narrations and a few mawdu narrations which are included in Sunan Ibn Majah diminishing his standing. And if ever Abu Zar'a's statement is correct, the 30 traditions he mentioned are matruh and saqit traditions. For the traditions which lack authority are more than that, and perhaps they are approximately 1,000 traditions. Sunan Ibn Majah has 4,341 narrations in 37 chapters or kutub and 1,515 sections or abwab. Out of this, 3,002 narrations are also included in the other 5 Sahih books, and out of the remaining narrations, that is 1,339 narrations, 428 have reliable narrators and authentic chains of transmission. 199 Hasan narrations or traditions, and 613 narrations with weakness in the chains of transmission, and 99 Wahi, Munkar, and Makdhub narrations. Thirteen commentaries have been written on Sunan Ibn Majah, and among them Misbahu Zajaja by Suyuti and Kifayatul Hajjah by Sanadi can be mentioned. Until the 6th century after Hijrah, that is 3 centuries after its publication, Sunan Ibn Majah was only confined in Persia in general and in Qazwīn in particular. Ibn Majah presented his books to his students. Among them, the tradition of Qatan was most popular. It is said that the efforts of his students, namely Abdurrahman ibn Ahmad al-Qazwīnī, were responsible for the promotion of the Sunan. Since then, the further popularity of the Sunan was made possible at the hands of Abu Zar'a al-Muqaddasi. Ibn Majah's style in narrating traditions. The traditions in Sunan Ibn Majah commence with the phrase Haddathana, he narrated to us, and after mentioning the chains of transmission, the text of the tradition is quoted. In some cases, the compiler enumerates the different channels or turuk or other versions of the tradition, and in a very limited cases, he expresses his own views. For instance, in the chapter on compensation, that is Kifayatul Kafarat, Kitabul Kafarat, in the section on abidance with the vow, Nadr, after narrating a tradition about abidance with the vow from Abu Bakr ibn Abi Shayba, from Marwan ibn Muawiyah, from Abdullah ibn Abdurrahman at-Ta'ifi, from Maymuna, from the Prophet, it is stated that Abu Bakr ibn Shayba has narrated the same tradition through another channel. Sunan Ibn Majah begins with traditions related to the incumbency of following the Prophet's Sunnah, and they are followed by traditions about the merits of the companions and the excellences of knowledge. Then, on the basis of jurisprudential sections or abwab at the end of the book, there are such sections as Kitabul Tib, Kitabul Libas, Kitabul Adab, Kitabul Dua, and Kitabul Fitan. Kitabul Tib about medicine or cure, Kitabul Libas, clothing or garment, Kitabul Adab, etiquettes, Kitabul Dua, supplication, about supplications, and Kitabul Fitan, about seditions. Key points of the lesson. Sunan Ibn Majah by Ibn Majah al-Qazwīnī is the 6th and last book in terms of credibility from among the Ṣiḥāḥ Sittah, and it contains jurisprudential traditions only. Instead of Sunan Ibn Majah, some Sunni scholars have regarded al-Muwatta by Malik ibn Anas or Sunan Darimi as the 6th of the Ṣiḥāḥ Sittah. This book has 4,331 traditions. Because of containing chimerical, weak, and even forged traditions, Sunan Ibn Majah has been the subject of criticism of many Hadith scholars. According to Al-Dhahabi, 1,000 traditions in it are of such nature. For more similar lessons, subscribe to Wayfaring with Mansoor channel. Thank you. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.